I thought it would be a great idea if I interviewed my wife and see what you had to say.
Okay.
You look good,
Thank you.
and I love you.
I love you too.
I love my wife, and before we even get started, I want everybody to know that we've been married 38 years. 38 years, but we met each other in November of 80, or when we started school.
Yes.
So we've been together 41 years.
Yes.
40, something like that. We've been together 41 years. And Kim is my high school sweetheart. And you have been with me through it all. Everything. Because we met each other when we were 16 and 17 years old, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's start out like this. Where were you born and raised? Where did you come from, Kim?
St. Louis. I was born and raised here in St. Louis, all over St. Louis.
In the city.
Well, everywhere. From the time I started kindergarten to graduating, I had been to 9 different schools.
Yeah. Whoa.
It's a lot.
Say that again. You were at 9 different schools.
In 13 years, yes.
Why were you at 9 different schools?
We moved a lot, and so I have lots of friends now, everywhere.
You know what? Now take that as positive mental attitude. People always say to me, man, is that Kenny Wallace really happy? So to me, moving 9 times, 9 different schools sounds crazy, but I like the way you put it. You said I have more friends.
I do. I do.
That's fantastic. So what I do like about you moving 9 different times is because of that, we met each other.
Yes.
And you moved out. You were in the city. You moved out with us rednecks in Arnold, Missouri. And I was in photography class at Fox High School, 1980. And all of a sudden you come walking in that room. And I was like, holy moly. I always tell everybody, you look like Bo Derek. Beautiful.
Or Raquel Welch.
Or Raquel Welch at Rick Mast.
He still calls me Raquel.
Because I was on Sirius XM or something like that, and I said, my wife remind me of Raquel Welch. Well, you are. You're dark-skinned. Where does the dark skin and black hair, where does that come from? Because you really do stand apart. I mean, yes, I can see that your family, you're all one. You all are kind of dark-skinned, but you're really
well, it's Italian, dark German, and that's it.
You're not Indian.
Somewhere along the line, there's a piece of it that I don't know.
Because your maiden name is Poole, but your mom's maiden name is Sunshine.
Okay.
But it's Sonnershine.
And they changed the spelling somewhere through the years.
German. So anyway, you moved out with us rednecks, and I drove you nuts. I was flirting with you.
Yes.
What do you remember about us getting together?
I remember that I missed you once you were gone, but you did drive me crazy.
Why'd you miss me?
Because the class was kind of boring. Journalism is more boring than photography.
So you were bored because I wasn't around anymore.
Correct.
So I'm the same way today. I drive people nuts, but when I leave, then they get bored.
Yeah.
I'm 58 and they're the same
They really
thing.
drive me nuts. I'm used to it by now.
So we'll get to that point.
Okay.
When we were in school, so we ended up I had to go to, 3rd period or whatever it was. We went to it. We separated because of the way it was, school.
Right.
But then we were in our race shop one night. The phone rings. And I answer, Poor Boy Chassis, Rusty's business, Poor Boy Chassis. And do you remember what you said to me?
I do.
What'd you say? Because I know.
Something about being a crime to want to go out with you, because once you were gone, I realized that I did like you.
So you said,
So I called you. I made the first phone call. Yes.
and I said, who is this? And you said, Kim Poole, is it a crime to want to go out with you? And I'm like, no. So we set up, what made you say that?
Just because I told a friend of mine, I said, you're not going to believe who I think I like. And she told me your name. So I'm like,
It makes me happy that you like me because I love you
I know.
so much.
There's nobody like you.
Yeah, what? Say that.
There's nobody like you.
That makes me happy. I'm going to cry if I don't stop. But anyway, moving forward, so we went on a date, and now it's time to kind of fast forward. For a lot of people out there, I see it all the time. They get married, and their husband or boyfriend is a race car driver, and they don't take kindly to the racing because the racing consumes my life. You never threatened me. You never said race car or me. No. Why did you let me race?
Well, there's a fine line there. You either accept it or you don't. It is a hard life, a lot of sacrificing, but I don't know. I had the kids and I was busy. And
Hold on, though. We were boyfriend, girlfriend, and we were leaving every week.
Right.
I was with Rusty every week.
Somebody had to work.
You worked. We were broke, literally.
I worked.
You worked. What were your jobs?
I worked in an accounting firm. I was jack of all trades at Pope's Cafeteria here in St. Louis.
You worked at a cafeteria.
In bank buildings, we did executive parties and we served the executives lunch. So
Everybody always,
different.
everybody wants to know, so like say you made a whole bunch of spaghetti or potato salad. How would you save it for the next day? Or would you just throw that food out?
No,
Because it you kind of like we're at a cafeteria.
right. Well, some things were saved, some things went out. It just really depended, but we knew how much to make based on the last time we made it or something. So we didn't have a lot of waste.
So you didn't have a lot of waste.
Right.
So I remember that you worked hard. You had a job. Tell me all your jobs.
I worked at several of the different,
Wendy's.
I did Wendy's when I was 16.
Well, I was only I met you when I was
I know, I was
16, 17.
right. So I worked there. Somebody that I had babysat for, he says, as much of a babysitter you are, we don't want to lose you, but I really need you at the store. I was a good worker. And so I worked at Wendy's. Then I graduated. I went to Pope's Cafeteria, worked at several other different things. And then I worked at an accounting firm. And then I was going to a new job, and you stopped me from going because you said, we're moving.
Well, you went to go to work downtown St. Louis at
that
a
was
rough area.
Yeah, that was
And I came to pick you up after work one day, and I went, no. It's one thing to work in the city, but you were in a rough area. I didn't like that. And
yeah.
so so then you allowed me. When did you realize you were all in that we were going to race? Was there ever a point? Because I don't know if I remember that we were going to race. Like we were broke all the time.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
No, because we didn't care about money. We just were doing what we wanted to do.
You did what you wanted to do, but no, I mean, inevitably, I knew you were going to be a race car driver. I mean, it was in your family. That's what you were doing. I just didn't want you to leave me in St. Louis and head to Charlotte.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you knew I was going to race, and we're boyfriend, girlfriend, and in 1984, I end up becoming the crew chief in the Cup Series. Joe Ruppman was the driver. Levi Garrett was the sponsor. And I never really heard that part. So the reason you went with me because what?
Well, before that, I kept thinking, you kept talking about going to Charlotte, and I thought, I can't go to Charlotte. But then I was afraid that you were going to leave me here and go. So anyhow,
That would
you went, I know, you went first. We were getting married in the middle of that year that we just
June 23rd, 1984, we got married.
Yeah. And so I came down about a month later and we found a place and stuff.
So time moves on. You went through some of my toughest times in racing. So, I remember on the back of our hauler, I painted this thing. It said, "Tough times last a while, tough people last forever." I went through a lot of, I was always happy, always going, but I never really got exactly everything I wanted. So you dealt with a lot of my depression. I was bummed out that I didn't get exactly what I want. What was your process there? How did you help me?
I'm not sure because they were pretty tough. And, you find out who your friends are. But it affected our whole family, not just you,
Right, the kids.
The kids, people that think that, oh, well, you just get over it and you move on or you go to a new ride or whatever. But emotionally, it affects you and it affects the kids. And I'll never forget a couple times they told us, leave your phones here, don't answer any calls, go to Charleston, go. And we did. We took our phones with us, but I think something good turned out of one.
Well, you know what? So we're not going to do this in a timeline. However, we started out, nothing.
Right?
We've been together we had nothing.
Right.
Like zero, not even a car,
Correct.
a passenger car.
Right.
And you've been with me through it all. But we went from racing in ASA, kind of like, oh, how are we doing this? We had sponsorship, right. John Childs, Don Kern. And then when we made it to NASCAR, it was a dream. It was a dream to make it to NASCAR. But for me, it was a nightmare. For me, it wasn't at the start. How would you say, as a wife and a mother, how was it like for you to be a NASCAR, especially for a driver? I consider myself like now don't get mad at me. I consider myself like a C+ driver in NASCAR. We had 9 NASCAR Xfinity wins and we had a lot of great stats, but I wasn't Jeff Gordon. Did that work hard on you during that time?
Because I didn't want to marry Jeff Gordon.
Yeah. So you didn't?
No, I just, we are who we are. We don't try to be anybody else. And we just did what we did. We had parties, we had friends, the kids had things. We always had something going on at our house.
Yeah. You were into me for Kenny back in high school.
Yes.
So you didn't care about finding a sponsor.
No.
In other words, you met me.
No, I didn't marry you because you raced.
You met me because you loved me. We didn't have any money. Actually, you bought my very first Dillon trailer.
Yes.
Like $2,100. You saved that up, bought my first trailer. So when I didn't run good in NASCAR.
No, I felt really bad for you because there was a lot of behind the scenes struggles that went on in your racing career, and I thought we did the best we could with all of that.
Yeah.
There was some really hurtful things, but we just, I don't know, we just were in our house and we did our thing.
What pissed you off the most?
Oh, God, there's too many.
Do you remember one thing that just stands out to you? Like for me, the worst time in my NASCAR career was 1993 when Felix Sabates fired me.
That was the greatest thing that happened to us.
Yeah, it was.
It was because my favorite, Filbert Murtasi, came into play.
Yeah.
And to this day, that man is my favorite.
Yeah. And Filbert just passed away.
He did. Very sad.
What a good man out of Nashville, Tennessee. That was that Red Dog car, and we won races. And when Felix fired me, Filbert hired me right away. We didn't miss a beat, and we went on to have a killer year. We won like 3 races, and I think we won 3 races in 1994. And from then on, it was just we were living.
But it wasn't just us. I know other drivers, they, go through that too, and it's like, oh, this is rough, But I will say this, the majority of your career was racing as we all knew it. It was fun, it's competitive, you weren't worrying about your job every week, you weren't, it was fun. It was just the last 4 years that were a little bit stressful.
Yeah.
So basically, it was a good life.
So I'm looking at my notes here. I wrote some notes down. You're hardcore. So I pacify. In other words, I want people to be happy. We're yin and yang. Opposites attract. So when people cock you wrong, you're done with them. Me, I try to mend a fence. I'm so used to having to, work with racers. You see them in the pit area. You write people off, but you've always been that way. Why are you like that? Why are you so hardcore?
I probably get that from my grandma pool. However, you can ask any woman out there, and she will tell you that if you cross her husband or her kids, you're done.
Right.
And that's it. Because you're a good person, Guinea. Nobody should treat you bad.
Yeah.
You have helped more people from one extreme to the next, and I know that.
Yeah. So
I know.
So what about the interviews about you, which we just want to know your feelings. Well, go ahead.
Those are my feelings, that some people get a second chance. It kind of depends on what it is, but some people, they're just not worthy of a second chance.
So you just write them off.
I just write them off. I don't go on talking about
and
it.
I'm always trying to please them.
But it's like, goodbye, I never knew you, only because I'm a nice person too. And I do a lot, and, I just,
So let's move forward now.
Okay.
We have 3 awesome girls, Brooke, Brandy, Brittany. But during that period, you tied your tubes, and you always told me you wanted to have 7 kids because you came from a big family.
Correct.
So we went back and we tried to retie your tubes.
Right.
So we have 3 wonderful kids, but you wanted to have more.
Correct.
You tied your tubes, and here we are with these kids. What was going on during that time?
I'm not going to talk about why I made the decision to do that.
Right.
But I did. And when Brittany was 4, you were gone. And all of a sudden, I'm picking her up in the preschool line. And I'm like, oh, this is my last year.
You want more kids.
But I shouldn't have listened to that person. I should have just did it. So anyhow.
So somebody convinced you, which
we don't need to talk about that.
Right.
But anyhow, so we did. And so we decided to check into IVF.
Right. And it didn't take.
It did not.
Well,
We did that twice, and it didn't. And then my sister decided to get pregnant, and so we just played with hers.
But we have 3 wonderful girls.
We do, and that was.
But you wanted the house full of kids.
I did.
You're a great mother. I mean, we're running through the Indianapolis airport with 3 girls, and there's Dick Trickle saying, "Here, let me help you." I mean, our kids.
I have a lot of patience too.
I don't.
I do, and when it comes to motherhood and stuff like that, I'm very organized. Yeah. When it comes to that, and my girls are great.
Why do you? Listen, I'm with you. My life with you has been awesome with the kids, but I just find it unbelievable. Now, do you think you wanted so many kids because your mom is one of 10? Your mom is one of 10.
Yeah, it just kind of runs in our family. We're Catholic, so all these families have huge families. But I don't know. I love the kids. Me having girls, all their friends were always over at our house, so I still ended up having all
always-
of these bonus daughters.
We always had parties. I mean, our house was just party, party, party.
Yeah,
You know, not parties, but I mean birthday parties,
yeah.
Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I mean, every event
Well, it was important for me. Like I missed quite a few years in there while I was raising my kids and they're in school. But it was more important to me to be at home,
Yeah.
raising them so they didn't miss out on sleepovers or they didn't miss out going and doing these things. I did all these things with them.
I find it fascinating that you are the ultimate racer's wife. Like you could teach everybody else a lesson. I mean, I will brag on Kim. Kim is the ultimate. I mean, if we're gonna have like a group, she's the queen of racing wives. So like, I mean, you've threatened to kick people's ass. You've lived at the racetracks. You've literally lived at the racetracks. But now that I go dirt racing, I'm not saying you don't want nothing to do with it. Why don't you go dirt racing with me?
Probably because we did asphalt racing for 30 years and it was all about him.
30 years of racing, and when I decide to go dirt racing, it's for a hobby. You're like, screw this.
Yeah, and I do go and but I had
You support me.
I do, but my grandbabies came along and I was babysitting for them. And now I'm kind of solo again because they're all going to school. So I can go with you, but you know me, I'm going to be pick and choose.
So we'll kind of fast forward a lot. Like I said, my new word is timestamp. We're not time stamping this interview. We're getting to know Kim. So I've announced that this is going to be my last year racing all over America. And then I'm going to right size even more. And then in 2023, I'm going to race right around home. Now, you and I have talked about this over and over. What do you think about my idea?
That's fine.
Yeah.
fine.
You good with me slowing my racing down?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I have things that keep me busy when you're gone. So
Right. Right. So a lot of people, like my face, like this is the real me, the way I'm talking. This is the way I really am. And as I'm talking to you, I'm realizing that, this is really me. When people ask you, is Kenny really like, I mean, I know, but I'm dead serious about this. There's 2 or 3 of me. It depends what person I want to give to that person. Do they want the entertainment guy? Do they want the businessman? Tell them, who is Kenny Wallace?
you're all of the above. You really are. Like you're very smart and you are fun always. Never ever a dull moment around here. So I mean,
So when I see people reach out to you on social media, is he as crazy? Am I
that
crazy?
was the number one question when you were doing Speed TV. They would ask me,
And Speed was entertainment.
is he as crazy at home? And I'd sit back and I'd think, I'm like, well, if you mean if he jumps on my furniture, I mean, you're just fun. And every day is, even So
I'm not crazy.
you're not crazy. But I think even when you had bad years or bad times at the racetracks, we never felt that. I mean, we knew it, but you never come home and threw that on top of us. In other words, we never felt like you hit a lot, I think, or you could handle that better.
You're right though. You said it right. So during my whole racing career, it only got city bang bang at the end.
Correct.
Yeah. Because ASA was awesome. The Busch Series was awesome.
Yeah.
We had some good cup runs, but the cup rides were super hard to come by. And when we did get the good cup rides, we ran good. like that Pennzoil car and the Haviland car.
Yeah,
So those were good times.
they were. They were.
And it takes you to remind me. So the reason I asked you about am I crazy is because, it's funny because there are racers that really know me. And, but for the people that don't know me, they ask questions. I'm like, people, and I'm like, do you think I go down the straightaway? Like, oh, there's people like that.
I know.
They really think that I'm crazy.
I know they do.
It has always caught me off guard that, I'm in the
Or
entertainment.
if you're, and I always know when you're stirring the pot when you're on social media
How do you know I'm
because you start laughing. And I'm like, what are you doing over there? But the thing is that not everybody is laughing, So like when you say or do something and they come back with something, I think, oh, really? You don't know Kenny better than that to know that he's just pulling your leg or something, because you've never been mean to anybody.
So I find social media fascinating from the fact that when me and you were kids in St. Louis, I used to listen to KMOX AM talk radio. I've always said that to you. I love debate radio. And when people debate, it means they don't agree. They're debating something. And it fascinates me. So sometimes I won't even bring up a subject, I'll just say a name. And oh my God, all it takes is a name, like 4 letters. I just put it up, I just say it, and everybody starts fighting. And I find that funny because it doesn't take anything for people to start, I won't say arguing, but just yes, no.
Debating, but it depends on the temperament of the person too. Some people, you could really get under their skin and others laugh. So, that's why whenever anything is very controversial, I will try and tell you.
You tell me.
I do tell you because I don't want people to get mad at you because you're not that person. And
you don't like it when I talk politics.
I don't at all because I'm not.
Right. So let's come to not the end, but let's get to where we are right now. We're downstairs in our 2,600 square foot home. I feel like we have a modest home, but you have done a lot with this basement. What got you into making wreaths? When was that moment you said, I'm going to make wreaths?
Somebody just asked me if I had done this, and I said, no, I haven't. So I went and took a class at Ben Franklin Crafts when they were in business, and I never ever thought, I've had a lot of hobbies. I've always been active in that. But I just went, I made my first
I remember you telling me.
Day wreath. Remember how it was pretty nice.
I remember when you said, Kenny, I'm going to Ben Franklin to learn how to make wreaths. I'm like, you're doing what? You're going to Ben? I don't even think Ben Franklin's are around anymore.
No, they're not.
Darn it, they were a good.
They were.
They time-stamped my life. Ben Franklin, kind of like Kmart or Sears. Ben Franklin was the Hobby Lobby. Mm-hmm. So you learned how to make these wreaths. Now,
I did. And I didn't think that I would make them to the altitude I do now.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah.
I don't think I sold all my cake decorating stuff. I sold all my scrapbooking and stamping stuff for this.
Yeah.
Because I didn't need it anymore.
So you don't have to talk about this, but I'm going to bring it up. I tell people, I tell some of my closest friends, the reason Kim makes wreaths is because you were diagnosed with anxiety. One night we're laying in bed and you're like, you feel this? And I'm like, what? And I didn't feel anything, but we went to the hospital a couple times.
Yes, we did.
1 at 3 in the morning, and you end up being diagnosed with anxiety. Yeah. And I know a lot of famous people. A lot of people have anxiety. Do you feel like the wreaths help you with anxiety?
I do personally.
Yeah.
Because, I start with a wreath. I just pull out, make it, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it until it's all finished. I mean, it's hard to say, oh, hey, do you got pictures of it? No, not what I'm making, because I don't know. I think it does help me with my anxiety.
You're really talented.
Thank you.
I mean, you're really good at this.
Well, you know what, though? I put my heart and soul into building these wreaths. I do so many custom orders for people, and I don't think I've ever got a negative review at all from anybody. I mean, like, they're like, you captured it or whatever. I mean, they just start throwing things at me, and I'll go to the other end of the earth to find what I'm looking for.
So some of these wreaths become part of our house. So like you'll have people that had been in war and they died. And I've seen you and Brandy. Brandy's got a Cricut machine.
Which I've learned how to use now.
Tell me about those wreaths where the people want a shield and they're
And the name and yeah. Some people, I mean, I do them for everything. And it's almost like my saying, if you can dream it, I'll build it.
your wreaths. You make memories for people. They're not just baseball, football. I mean, these wreaths are like these people's that you capture people's lives.
Mm-hmm. I do. And
You work hard at that.
I do, because I'm trying to reach into their head to see what they're picturing. Because sometimes they don't even know until, but I don't glue nothing until it's done. I let them see everything. If you don't like something, please tell me, because I have all of this stuff.
You're really, although you're having fun, I think I'm a fan of yours.
I know.
So when I watch you, I'm like, you're like me. You're like, we're racing and we're building wreaths because it's fun, but we're really serious.
No, we are really serious. And when this pandemic started a couple of years ago, I was scared to death.
Right.
Because I also have diabetes. And I couldn't take the news no more. I spent either in my room watching Hallmark or down here. And everybody else was in the same boat I was. We were all afraid to go outside. We were inside. So I was just as busy as I am at Christmas time. I was getting wreath orders, and I was just down here happy as a bear.
You mentioned that you've always told me you don't watch the news, you don't like the news.
No.
But I believe in current affairs. I watch the news, I watch it, and then I turn it off and I leave. When in your life did you, because ever since I met you, you're like, I ain't watching the news. What is it that you don't like about the news?
I don't like anything bad. So maybe I live in a fairy tale world.
No, you don't. You just don't.
But I always want to think or find the good in somebody. So I'm always, that stuff is negative.
Yeah. And it's worse now.
Oh, it's terrible. And so I don't watch the news.
Did you ever hear that song about the news?
I don't watch horror films. You know that.
We can go to scary movies.
So everything I didn't let my kids watch Ninja Turtles or any of that stuff. My kids watched Pound Puppies and My Little Pony when they were little. And so I've always been like that, to try and want everybody to be good.
In our day, there was that song. You got the bubble-headed bleach blonde. She comes on at 5. She can tell you about the plane crash with the gleam in her eye. People love it when you die. Give me dirty laundry. So you're saying that song is accurate?
Yeah. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't watch any of that stuff.
Well, Kimberly, this has been fantastic. I hope that you all learned a little bit about Kim, and I want to thank you for letting me race. I think that our relationship sometimes has worked so good because I go racing and I come home and I think you love me more.
No. But it does give me a break to do what I want to do. Oh, no. But here's the reason for that, okay?
That's funny.
When you're home, I feel like my duty is to do whatever we're going to do or whatever you need me to do. You know, God only knows your schedule changed daily before.
I want to
so-
say something though. I told your mom this. Kim is tough. Kim is hardcore. But our marriage is truly 50-50 because I don't ever tell you what to
No,
do.
you don't.
You're your own boss. I don't tell you what to do. You don't tell me what to do. It's always been like that because I know what pisses you off, you know, and you know what. But I truly think, you know, people say, how you been married so long? I'm like, dude, you know, I mean,
It's a partnership,
yeah,
you know,
I think it is.
it is.
You're a badass. All right. So thank you for letting me interview. I hope you learned a little bit about Kim. So here we are. We're both 58 years old now. It's only like this until August. Then I turn 59, but we're both the exact same age. And so we are going to start. So I want to talk about this real quick. Last week, it's been happening to me a lot lately where I'll be sleeping and I'm like, in my mind, towards the end of my sleep, I'll be calculating ages. I'm like, I'm 58, 68. In 20 years, I'll be dead. I'll be 78. And you tell me that I'm totally crazy.
You are totally crazy.
Yeah.
To
thank
me,
you.
that's like the news.
That's news. Why do I think like that?
I do everything that revolves around happiness. Comedies.
You do.
When I watch movies,
Every time we
would
go,
it be a happy movie?
yeah, you
Feel
do.
good movie.
Every movie has got to be about
My whole
love.
house is
comedy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
you've helped me because I tell you what, I've laughed a lot.
58 is young. The life expectancy is so much
Yeah.
higher now.
Are we buying a motorhome?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to buy a motorhome? Because we're going to buy one.
Yeah.
All right, then.
Take them babies out. Take our kids out.